Hello everyone, welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. We got a great one for you today, and we start off with some unfortunate news. 3 dead, including a gunman, and yet another mass shooting at a Florida gaming tournament. Republicans are preparing for the worst, let's just say, if the Democrats take the House. Let's take a look at the now exposed life of Duncan Hunter, the corrupt California representative. In a crucial vote, though, the Democrats have moved to weaken the power of super delegates. Lanny Davis and his complicated relationship with the media is explored. And also, the rise of Zephyr Teachout, and another horrific sign of John McCain pretty much being shat on again by the president. That seems to be how it is. All right. Yeah, so let's get right into that show, as we have a great one for you as always. So we start with, again, some pretty unfortunate news. In Jacksonville, a gunman arrived with a handgun, armed with a handgun, killed 2 people at a video gaming tournament on Sunday, turning a football competition waged in a virtual domain into the chaotic scene of a double murder. According to the New York Times, shooting suspect, the gamer attending the event, fatally shot himself, the authorities said. Sheriff Mike Williams identified the suspect as David Katz. He killed himself again on the scene, 24, of Baltimore, but it was too early to know his motive. The sheriff said the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Explosives, that is, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, were assisting in the investigation. So yeah, a live stream of the tournament, though, really caught the chilling moment when the shooting began. A red laser dot appeared on the chest of one of the players who was wearing headphones and a red sweatshirt. Then the video of the players then disappeared as 12 gunshots rang out. And you can pretty much hear what the game they were playing is. Yeah, it was Madden 19. Very new game. Going to be a pretty cool game that's kind of be a little bit tarnished by this horrible event, no doubt. So pretty much what happened was they were playing that game, and then they kind of cut to the footage of the game happening as you could hear gunshots ringing out. Just an absolutely horrible, chilling scene. 11 people were injured, 9 by gunshots, and others supposedly just by the stampede and all that. So 2 people dead, 3 including the shooter. And the shooting took place at 1:34 p.m. at the Jacksonville Landing, a riverfront collection of restaurants, shops, and open-air performance space that is a gathering place in the city on weekends. President Trump held a packed rally there as a candidate in 2015. By late Sunday, it was surrounded by fire trucks, police vehicles, and its perimeter roped off by police tape. SWAT team officers stood at the entrance of a nearby parking garage, and a helicopter flew high overhead. So yeah, very just awful scene. It just shows you, and there's a lot still we don't know, and we will probably find out later in the week, so we'll probably have more details for you when we have our show on Thursday about this shooting, but it's going to be very important to see. And again, obviously the immediate reaction is yet again another mass shooting. We don't really know too much about this. Again, what we're going to do is just have to wait and see. We're going to have to look back at the facts, but what we're going to do is really tell you, just give you an idea of the way things stand now on Monday, a day after the shooting. So Monday the 27th after the August 26th shooting. So, speaking outside the Jacksonville hospital on Sunday night, Rick Scott mourned another mass shooting in state. We've got to change. We've really got to stop and say to ourselves, there's something wrong. Scott said, who signed a gun control legislation into law after February 14th rampage at a high school in Parkland, Florida, that left 17 people dead. Why are young men willing to give up their lives, or why don't they value someone else's life? We've got to figure this out. We don't want this to ever happen again. But here's the thing. Rick Scott, the governor, who is due to leave office within months as he's running for a seat in the United States Senate, and on Sunday night he made no specific policy proposals. So he's probably like, there's not much I can do. I'm going to be out of here in a few months, less than 100 days. So it's probably up to the next guy to really make a big, decisive statement on that. And will he make a big, decisive statement on it? It's not really very likely because we know how gun control happens in the country. Actually doing something about our mass shooting problem in this country in a situation where people get shot playing video games, attending school, at movie theaters, just so many just places that are supposed to be just normally acceptable in public life, and a place to just enjoy yourself in public life, they've now just become targets for a lot of these crazed people. And those targets are made so much more easier and accessible by the easy access of guns in America. Like the fact that politicians doing something from both sides of the aisle to actually solve this problem is so little. Like it's so frequent. It's so frequent that we see just such inaction on this issue and so many issues in Congress. Like that, it's surprising when something actually gets done, which is the kind of the sad state of affairs that we live in today. So yeah, Jacksonville was already reeling from another deadly shooting over the weekend. One person was killed and 2 others were injured in a shooting after a high school football game on Friday. So just this weekend, pretty crazy stuff. Mayor Curry of Jacksonville blamed that violence on youth gangs. So the violence rattled locals and visitors, rippled through the state political establishment. Florida's primary election takes place on Tuesday with 5 Democrats running for governor to decry the violence and reiterated their push for gun control. So the 5 candidates in the Democratic primary field, they were strongly for gun control, as they should be. If you want to be a Democrat, just really want to be a politician that should really garner any support, gun control is just something that you have to throw your weight behind, in my opinion. It's some form of gun control, because it's just such a problem out there, and it's very sad to see that this is happening. So the violence rattled locals and visitors, of course, and then rippled through the state's political establishment. Marquise Williams said, "How long is it?" He's a resident. He told local reporters after he and his girlfriend were treated for an ankle injury. He said, "How long is it going to take for us to get guns off the street? How many more people, how many friends do we have to die to this?" Makes a good point there. Williams and his girlfriend, Taylor Poindexter, had come from Chicago to the tournament. They were Chicago Bears fans, apparently. They're wearing the jersey and everything. And they were preparing to order pizza at the Chicago Pizza and Sports Grill, which is an interest with the organization hosting the gaming tournament, when the shooting began. When I heard the first pop, I thought it was a balloon, Williams told the Ford Times Union. And we heard multiple pops, took off running. And Poindexter said she was the girlfriend. She was apparently shot. She was apparently trampled on the way out, which could have led to that ankle injury. So never did I once think, we're going to be part of a mass shooting and I'm on crutches just playing video games. She said, it's crazy. And that it is. And it's, again, like, I think at this point, we really do have to ask ourselves, like, are we okay with this becoming our country? Like, do we want this actually to be part of the world that we live in every day? I mean, I don't think many people do. I'm just going to say that. All right, now we turn to politics, and the people who are supposed to actually do something about gun control, people in Congress. So Republicans at Capitol Hill, they're bracing for the absolute worst, a flurry of investigation into Trump's businesses, his ties to Russia, his most infamous policies, and much more. If the Democrats take the House this November, according to a Monday report from Axios. The reporting is based on a spreadsheet obtained by the site, which is apparently circulating through Republican circles on and off the Hill. The document meticulously catalogs requests Democrats have already made that have been held off thanks to the GOP's control of Congress. Get a load of this list here per Axios. This is reporting here from Splinter on this story. They wrote this up. And by the way, I just do want to give credit to the New York Times for getting those quotes about the mass shooting earlier. And giving the idea of what really in the world was going on. All right, so yeah, they're thinking about President Trump's tax returns, Trump's family business, and whether they comply with the Constitution's emoluments clause, and the Chinese trademark grant to the Trump Organization, Trump's dealings with Russia, and a.k.a. the president's preparation for his meeting with Vladimir Putin, the payment to Stormy Daniels, James Comey's firing, the firing of U.S. attorneys, proposed transgender ban for the military that Trump signed, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin's business dealings, White House staff's personal email use, Cabinet Secretary travel, office expenses, and other misused perks, discussions of classified information at Mar-a-Lago, Jared Kushner's ethics law compliance. Oh yeah, there's more. Dismissal of EPA board of scientific counselors, the travel ban, family separation policy, hurricane response to Puerto Rico, election security and hacking attempts, as well as White House security clearances. That is an incredible list of things that really should be investigated like pronto, because they're a big deal. One thing I did feel that I think should have been on there, but wasn't, was the whole thing with the Supreme Court and Trump's relationship with Anthony Kennedy, and could there have been any possible double dealing, which I think is bigger than some of the things on the list, because I thought I would like to see that on there, and hopefully this is a partial list, and some Democrats could be smart enough to possibly bring that up. This extensive list includes requests to nearly every committee possible in Congress, so it's just something that should be investigated. All these things are like really pretty legitimate. So let's go through them here again. So yeah, Trump's tax returns. I mean, again, probably not one of the most important priorities out there, but I would really like to see that investigate. Like, there could be some things that are very interested. I'm personally very interested to see what's in there. I mean, do I think it's going to be a treasure trove of documents? No, but just to be sure, I think it's important that a president isn't corrupt. Although we already kind of know he is, but we need to find out the extent of that. So I should amend that statement to, we already definitely know he's corrupt. And some of the things, again, I think the probably the biggest thing about this list is it's missing a lot of stuff. His dealings with Saudi Arabia, and I think the Trump family businesses is also a very good, legitimate thing. Trump's dealings with Russia, including the president's preparation for a meeting with Vladimir Putin. That was probably the Finland stuff they're going to want to get into. They're probably going to talk to the translator, and I don't think that's really a good idea, because no one really cares. It's that simple. No one really cares. I think the Stephanie Clifford thing is legitimate. Stormy Daniels. James Comey's firing. The U.S. Attorney's thing is they're probably not going to do. But I think, yeah, some of his overseas business dealings, and some of the things he's done with Saudi Arabia, I think the thing that happened with Benjamin Netanyahu and Benjamin Netanyahu's proposed influence, I mean, I would definitely make a few strikes and some additions to this list, but a lot of things here are legitimate. Family separation policy, travel ban, White House security clearances, stuff we did with the EPA, ethics law compliance, security clearances, yeah, those would all be, to me, very legitimate things, but also add a little bit more. Some of the things I already mentioned. I'm sure if I kept reading, I would think a little bit more of these, because that's how corrupt our president is. Like, pretty much a full page list, and it's not enough. It's not enough. We need more. That's the incredible thing. We need more to really fully understand how corrupt this president is, in terms of just generally. It's absolutely incredible that, like, we see, what is it here? Probably like something like 15, 12 things that are corrupt, and I could probably get that list up to 20, like, that need investigating from people in Congress. And this, again, it pretty much entails every congressional committee on this one. It's a very big investigation. So, yeah, it would turn to the Trump White House in 24/7 legal defense operation. That could be interesting. This would be that's according to Axios' Jonathan Swan there. Pretty much, like, consider how bad things are right now with the Trump administration, and think it could get 10 times worse. 10 times worse. And that should probably put it into perspective. It should probably make that a little bit more sensible for you there. And all right, so now we move on to our next story, and that is Duncan Hunter. He has been partying hard. And that's his life. That's been his life up until recently. In Alpine, California, which is a Southern Californian enclave, Duncan Hunter was like a neighbor, New York Times reports. He'd help people do yard work or move heavy furniture. He drove the same dented-up truck for years.